Why this Jantar Mantar protest was absolutely necessary. Let's start with some tech talks. Since the discovery of machine in early age, humans found their replacement. Then computer came and now AI. This gave human mind time to focus on other stuff. But this also bring concentration of power. Because now a human can do work of 10 people in industrial age, 100 in computer, and 1000 in current AI age. This leads to some of the human with better or different mind to gather some resources and then take leverage on that and become more richer and richer and richer. And this will keep getting worse. The same thing is happening with the current situation in India. And also historically, the most powerful king killed all the smaller kings. And then came the landlords or jamidars. And now the politicians. They all know that who has the power can crush other and take what is theirs cause resources are limited. And they do this by taking what others have forcefully or through unfair trades. That is called finance. Yeah. And this is where the Demak or termite mentality shines. Look at the people who have created wealth from scratch. They are all innovators. They found chips, mobiles, computers. Know all the innovation in the world comes from the probability of random shit happening through random people, which all have random brain. Finance, whose motto is to distribute resources among people according to their contribution to the society. And these guys have taken the easier route or shortcut just as the regular Indian telecaller scammer. So these people now have more resources at their hand, which are getting multiplied at an exponential rate every day with the innovation in technology, especially AI. And it is not they don't have brains, they are just lazy. See their bellies. And through this power, they are pressing down on the people with less power or money. Money here is a way to quantify power or resources people have because they know they can't innovate, so they just take it from other people. And how they do this, which is the best way to do this for them, that is to keep information asymmetry in people, which leads to money resources asymmetry. And what I mean by this is they keep poor people poor by not letting them study, spreading misinformation. And with AI, even the best of the best mind can't what is real and what is not. And if all this does not work and the people somehow get common sense to go against them, they get back on physical and mental violence and torture through courthouses, beating people up. They are not dumb, just lazy to innovate. So they keep some people interested to them again by spreading misinformation. Pretty good example is Go Hatya. I come from a village where all the male cows and buffalo are sent to slaughterhouse. It's just not something I condemn. It's natural. And eventually, when alternative meat will come, this will be over. Now, coming on to paper leaks, you know it is not that hard to encrypt all these papers and keep them secure. It is not. Then why IIT JEE papers are not leaked? Just tell me why. Because it is prestigious. IIT come in QS university ranking, which is also pretty shameful low. And this is just like gold, nothing of intrinsic value. Meaning, compared what the cost of it is and what the usage of it is. That is to get your mommy look shiny on her corrupt husband's new Fortuner, coming from the recent paper leak, which cost 21 lives and infinite potential of youth. So it is just shiny stuff for showcasing. So why are paper leaking? Cause nobody cares. So they leak these papers, extracting more than 1,000 crore each year from less powerful or resourceful. And the cost of lost time of children and their future is still infinite. Cause nobody knows the future. I know the future and I will tell you exactly why it is infinite. Wait for the bonus end section. And this is not limited to politicians. All of the Indians, mostly all the generations before Gen Z, have this tendency only to eat, eat, and eat. Cause they were poor ones and just can't let go of their vices, just like Duryodhan in Mahabharata. Coming on to what can we do to help prevent this to whatever degree we can, there are two ways: either play the game which they have built for years or change the game. And to go for the second option, lots of resources are needed, which is pretty nearly impossible statistics wise. Never mentally, all laws are mental. The other way is play their game, which is a numbers game where they treat humans as a number rather than an individual. We are all the same and different at the same time. And how to play the numbers game? There are two ways here. Or first one is through violence, and most people tend this way, but it is the weaker choice. How powerful is becoming powerful, and there is no way we can stop that. Literally no way other than a full-blown world war. And they have more power that way as they can spread misinformation of attacks on themselves, which will bring down the revolution cause of less empathy from people to protesters, hence less participation. The only way is the original Goat's way, which is non-cooperation movement. And let me explain how. All of the recent protests in India which come in mind are farmers protest, JNE protest, and protest in Northeast. But all of these didn't get gathered so much attention as the current one. Why? Information asymmetry. The people there are not well versed in the new ways of evil, which is social media media. Read about how Vietnam Civil War happened due to Facebook. And that was the primary weapon since 2014, which is now used in the same way but more aggressively by parties like CJP. And they have found the ultimate Achilles heel, which is the privileged youth. Privileged means in the sense they have basic education, which still many don't have. Because in a war, you have to use a bow and arrow to stop another arrow. What should happen now? As the children's number keep getting more and more in the protest, and you know what separates Gen Z from all the generation before is that children only have one liability, which is their future, unlike their parents, which have the liability of their children and which is significantly much bigger. So to protect their children, they will do whatever they can, even take the current goat small penis in their petite ass. And in all other protests, the age of participants was significantly higher, which did not form a good chain reaction. Current goat Modi and his big mammedar cousin has stepped up on the snake's fang due to their sheer ego and previous tactics of violence, which has backfired, and more children will come and along with them their parents. Children don't care about their lives as much as their parents do, cause they feel that living in what you don't feel right without fighting against it is as good as being dead. Mahabharat quote: Gujaratis, wake up, quit sugar, and read about psychedelics. Eventually, this will spread like cancer or chain reaction, which will ultimately lead to the current goat to get out of his posture and do what is necessary. The resignation of minister here is nothing. It changes nothing in the system. It is just a statement that democracy is of, by, and for the people. And this would send the message to the goat that the country is not his to run in a fascist way, but in a more of a democratic way where people's voices are heard regardless of their status, color, religion. And that would instill a fear in him of loss of elections, cause this time Pulwama tactics won't work, cause the Janta is getting less chutia. But still, most of the people in villages are uneducated and easily manipulatable. So let's get to the bonus section. So why we need to change the system? One thing is that the poor should not get poorer, especially in the age of AI where people say we don't need more people anymore and work itself will become a luxury. All of the world you now see is built on utter randomness, with different people having different neuron corrections, living different lives and doing different random shit, which sometimes becomes an idea, then an experiment, and sometimes an innovation which changes everything. No one knows which farmer, mechanic, scientist, artist, or some random youth cutie from some village or tier 3 city will create the next big thing. And poverty is not only less money, it means less access to education, health, skills, technology, networks, and eventually AI. If AI is given only to a fewer people, then AI also remains in the hand of those fewer people. Fewer users means fewer experiments means fewer breakthroughs, and fewer breakthroughs means fewer possible futures. But if people can use this AI, aka the superhuman, every different mind will use it differently. Some for medicine, some for farming, some for designing, and some random things we don't even have a word for yet. More access means more questions, failures, prototypes, and inventions. And AI can proliferate into something far more advanced in ways we can't imagine in our DMT dreams. So, reducing the number of contributors is basically deleting futures before they are born. And different minds create different breakthroughs. And that's why we need the youth cuties. Because their random brains and stupid looking experiments might create the future nobody sitting in power today can imagine. So, be brave, be virtuous, and above all, be human.